A buzz builder episode on beer culture, and it's Justin and Trooper.
There we are.
And we're chilling over here doing a little out-of-state beer sharing.
Yes, we've got Furious IPA from Surly Brewing out of Brooklyn Center, Minnesota. 6.2%, 99 IBUs, and it's easily one of the best IPAs I've ever had.
Very smooth, very bright, nice and crisp. Has a real good malt back to it. I like it. I like that color. We were just talking about that. We were talking about possibly creating an IPA of our own, and I really like that color profile. I think.
Yeah.
I think IPA. I think from the one we had earlier from the same brewery, kind of to that color range, the SRM range. I guess. What was the SRM on that? You said it was
this I think was 27.
27.
Yeah.
We'll have to jot that down in our notes.
Yeah.
And that's all in the grains, right? When we talk about brewing, that's really the mixture of grains that's going to give them that color of
Right.
tea before they put the yeast in there. And the yeast turn it into delicious beer. Thank you, little yeasties.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers, man.
Cheers. Happy New Year. It's like the second day of 2014 right now.
What better way to bring in the new year with
beer
with
sharing.
some good beer.
Delicious beer.
Now, a lot of people call this a red IPA.
Yeah,
And I can see why, but I mean, Surly just refers to it as an IPA because I mean it's an IPA.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter to me what color it is.
Yeah, it's in that amber hue, that red hue. But there are a few beers like that don't really use that terminology, I think.
Right.
There's a few that we drink that are in that color profile. But, that name is a little deceiving, I think, IPA.
Mm-hmm.
The common man today, that's all they ever hear, whereas when we first started drinking it, it was always an India Pale Ale.
Right.
And that means what? A very hopped up pale ale.
Exactly.
But people think IPA now. I was having a conversation with somebody at the cafe today, and they were, all IPAs are really strong, and they'll just kick your butt. I was like, no, that's not necessarily true. Like, there's both ends of the spectrum. There's, your base IPAs that are 5, 6, 7%, and then there's your Imperial IPAs or above. But I think there's a kind of a mindset with new craft beer drinkers that IPA means, hoppy, big,
Right.
ABV, and that's not necessarily the case.
I've seen some newer people in the craft beer world think that all craft beer is high alcohol percentage, and I mean a lot of them are, but there are hundreds of good craft beers that you don't have to worry about having one have to be done because you already got a good buzz off of one beer.
Right.
I mean, some of my favorite IPAs are lower on the alcohol side anyway.
Me too.
And I like being able to have more than just one.
And I think I do look for that too, like in our warmer months out here, because we do get a little hot in the desert.
Yeah, I mean there was we were talking earlier about the the hop craze and everybody wanted hops. Like in the last year or so, but it seems like some of the breweries have gotten away from just being as bitter and as hoppy as they can and focusing more on the flavor of the beer, making it drinkable IPA that's not going to wreck your palate after half a glass.
Instead of trying to put in 10 pounds of hops,
Right.
they're trying to figure out how to put in 2 pounds of hops to create a specific profile, something that's really going to be unique in its flavor profile.
Exactly.
And what was the one we had right before this one?
It was
Abrasive?
the Abrasive Double IPA.
Yeah, the Abrasive. Like, I felt the Abrasive was smoother than this one, and it was the bigger ABV.
Right.
If we were in a bar and you were not an educated beer drinker and we brought these 2 beers to your table, somebody would choose the Abrasive over this in a minute. Oh, that's smoother, that's easier to drink, that must be safer.
I think you're right.
They're going to
Yeah.
get beat up.
Yeah.
They're going to go, like we talked about Green Flash's Green Bullet. That thing is too smooth for a 10% beer.
Yeah.
That's just, that one, Abrasive, is too smooth for a 9% beer.
Yeah.
But this one, it's a 6% beer. It's right the same as Torpedo or Stone IPA or so many others, but yet it's got a nice last to the hops in this one too.
Yeah.
The hops really stay there in the back.
Yeah, I just wish we could get it here. I wish it was easier to get a hold of.
Well, that's the beauty of what you do.
Yeah.
All the guys down the street are trying to brew 5 gallons of unique beer, and you got 10 beers that they can't even get without driving 100 miles.
Yeah.
Or more.
I mean,
More
Surly,
than 100 miles.
Surly's in, like I said, they're in Brooklyn Center, Minnesota, and right now they only distribute to the Twin Cities area in Minnesota. I think they're just now getting back into Chicago, but they just broke ground on a new brewery within the last couple of months. So hopefully that will allow them to get out, to a bigger area.
They're in the same area. They're just trying to do a bigger brewery,
Exactly.
so they're expanding their size.
Exactly.
Well, I hear a lot of good things. You look on you look on Rate Beer, you look on Beer Advocate, you look in any of the forums, and we're going to talk about that here in a minute about beer trading. But I see a lot of good things on there.
Yeah.
You see a lot of good reviews, a lot of good ratings, a lot of good people talking about them.
Every beer I've had from them has been really, really good. Their Imperial Stout they do once a year. It's called Darkness, and you can only get it at the brewery. You have to go, wait in line. You end up sometimes having to go, camp out the night before just to get a spot in line to be able to buy some the next day.
And from what I understand, you have to pay for the ticket, and that just gives you a spot in line.
That's the Three Floyds.
No, that's Three Floyds. That's
Three
right.
Floyds. Yeah,
Floyds.
Darkness. They might get to that point in the future, but as of this last Darkness Day, which is in October every year, you just show up and you get your spot in line, and that gets you the opportunity to buy the beer once you get in the door.
Celebrity beers, man.
Yeah.
It's a gimmick, but as long as I respect the beer and I respect the brewery, I'm down with it.
Yeah.
You want to create a celebrity beer, you want to make it hard to get your hands on, you want to get us beer geeks paying you $30, $40 for a bottle,
Yeah.
I'm down with it, It's always funny when you talk to somebody that's more of a wine drinker, and one of my questions to them is, if you pay $15 for a bottle of wine, is that a respectable price? And they're like, well, yeah, but I'm used to, a little higher,
Exactly.
Cool. Well, I'll buy a bottle of beer for $15. That's that same bottle, and it will kick your butt, and it's delicious.
Yeah.
And I'm not afraid to buy. But they want to pay $3 for beer. They're just like,
Exactly.
Beer.
They look at $15 for beer. How would you do that?
Beer should be cheap.
But yeah, I mean, to me,
They're
it's
calling us cheap.
yeah. But there are a handful of breweries that are doing special brewery only releases. Surly, Three Floyds, Cigar City does one with their Hunapoo Stout. Kern River does one with their Citra Double IPA.
Yeah. I think Stone was trying to do that with Enjoy By. They were trying to get that kind of celebrity thing going, where those beers were just. And I think for a minute they had it.
Oh yeah.
And they were just releasing it in specific areas. So people would buy it up in the area and then ship it out to other people.
When it first came out, if you weren't there, the day it was put on the shelf, you weren't getting
it. It was over, yeah.
And now it seems that, I don't know if they're making more of it each batch, but it seems it's a little more readily available each time it comes out.
Yeah, and it didn't move that quick. But yeah, I was able to walk in and buy it, and I was able to walk in next week and buy it.
Yeah.
Where, just like the vanilla porter this year too, the smoked porter. When it came out in the 12-ounce bottles, I remember buying 2 of them, coming home and showing me, we drank them, we were like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I went back the next day, boom, 3 cases were gone out of our Benmo, which doesn't move beer.
Yeah.
But this year, that smoked vanilla porter is just sitting there on the shelves.
It's weird sometimes, man. Like there are beers that will fly off the shelf in other areas, and here they just sit around and collect dust. I mean, it's take Bourbon County brand stout, for example.
Yeah.
Most other places that gets distribution, it sells out, and sometimes the shops will take and they'll sell it, single bottles. There's 10 cases of it sitting on a total wine just collecting dust because nobody's going in there and buying it.
Because there's no momentum for it.
It's I don't know why.
But for you, as a beer trader, that's trade power.
Yeah,
to be able to go in there and buy it, and wait for it to go on sale or whatever, get your hands on it, however, cellar it for a minute, and then put it out there. You've got some trade power.
Yeah, and that's a beer that's only going to get better as it ages.
Let's transition to that. I know for me, when I started trading, I started on the rating sites, and I think that's how I got so big on watching ratings. Because it was, when somebody would say, I'm in Utah and I want to get my hands on, Bear Republic, or I want to get my hands on, whoever that's right there by you, and I can't get it out here. What do you want from me? And I would go look at the beers that were readily available around them that were not distributed to California, and then I would rate those beers. Because I would look at all the labels and say, whatever, Donkey Punch IPA or Kangaroo Kick IPA. That sounds delicious. That sounds like it's going to be amazing. But then I would go, what are other people saying about it?
Exactly.
And when those people would rate it well, then I would pick that beer. So I think, beer trading for me, that was how I got into ratings. You went a different route, though.
Yeah, I mean, I've never really focused that much on what the beers are rated. You know, I mean, the thing is most of the really good beers are rated high, but it's like, to me, it's like I've had the opportunity to sample some of these beers from other people that have traded bottles, and if it's something that I really like, then I'm going to seek out, you know, another bottle for myself, 2 bottles, or whatever, and get a hold of. Some beers I've had that are rated, you know, really high, that I've been really underwhelmed by.
Absolutely.
And it's just, you know, it's really hit or miss, because I mean, taste is very subjective, and just because one person thinks it's the best beer in the world, somebody else could think it's just an okay beer. And I mean, that's just the way it goes.
And with all due respect out there, Pliny the Elder.
With the Pliny the Elder thing, I mean, it's not a bad beer. I mean, it's a really good beer.
Absolutely.
I don't think that it lives up to the hype that it gets. I think a lot of the hype has to do with the limited availability, and the fact that he was he's credited with creating the double IPA style.
Absolutely. Blind Pig.
Yeah, Blind Pig is a really good beer. Personally, I like Blind Pig better than Pliny the Elder.
Absolutely.
Now, I haven't had
Blind Pig, way better.
I haven't had Pliny the Younger yet, but
Neither.
I've talked to a few people that have, and they say the same thing. It's, you know, it's good, but it's not stand in line for 2 hours to get a pint of it good.
Yeah, stand in line.
So
half pint for $10. Yeah. No.
But I mean, that's just a lot of the higher rated beers, I think, have that, you know, that limited availability factor to them that makes them so sought after, that everybody, you know, has such high expectations when as soon as they get it, like, this is the best beer I've ever had. The first time I had Pliny the Elder, I was like, this is, you know, it's not, like I said, it's not a bad beer.
Yeah.
It's a good beer,
I didn't feel like it lived up to
I was
hype.
expecting to be blown away, and I wasn't at all.
I think there's so many new people coming to craft that as they come to craft beer, you know, what that's become known as, they start getting on those sites and they start reading and they start absorbing information, and that name just starts popping up everywhere.
Right.
And so they're like, I just got to get my hands on a bottle of Pliny the Elder. You know, I must know this beer.
Yeah.
I must know Bourbon County. Like, they start running around trying to find that one, you know, elusive bottle of beer. And then when they get it, they just convince themselves that it's just the best thing ever.
Exactly.
This is amazing. Like, well, I could bring you 10 other IPAs that, in my opinion, are right there or higher.
Yeah.
And no, they don't have that same following. And yes, they're easily, you can get your hands on them. And that, again, makes them even better for me.
Yeah.
I can get them all the time, and they're righteous.
Exactly.
So we're gonna talk about somebody here for a minute that went on our Facebook.
Okay.
Oh, I shared a picture on our Facebook. Michael T. Buck. Am I getting that name right? Awesome. And the picture showed Michael T. Buck's 30 plus gallons of beer, you know, clarifying in his man room of enviness. And then he, you know, took liberty and shared a picture of the kegging system that shows the 12 5-gallon kegs and the taps and his little room that he brews in out in San Diego. You know, and it's very impressive. It's obviously he either has a wife that really loves him, and just totally loves beer,
exactly,
you know, or he's just super single and has nothing else to do with his money.
Did he?
One or the other.
Did he tell you what styles he's got sitting there?
One of my comments on the line was when I saw the picture, I shared it, and I said, "Now this is beer culture, and we got to connect with this guy," you know. And Michael Buck responded with that there was a few ales and a couple of ciders in those 6 carboys. So I went back and looked, and you could see like some fruit or something floating in one of the carboys. I'm like, oh, okay. But I mean, 12 taps. He's got to have every style on the John Deere, you know. But we've chatted a little bit today, back and forth, me and Mike, and he wants to do some beer trading.
Okay.
He'd like to send us some homebrew and us figure out something to send back to him when we get it, and then have his homebrew on the show, and you know, we'll rate it and check it out, see what we think about it.
Yeah.
And if we get comfortable, you know, enough going back and forth with him, maybe we need to take a trip to San Diego and hang out in his adult cave, he calls it.
Yeah, I'm always for going to San Diego.
12 beer episode of homebrew.
That would be a rough episode. 12
Yeah, we need cab sponsorship down there and the whole 9 yards.
might have to make that a weekend episode.
Might be a weekend shoot down there with Michael Buck.
That would be good. I mean,
but he got a lot of traction on the page. He got a lot of responses. You know, a lot of people jumped on that page. They saw that, you know, beerness going on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing is, you know, a lot of people that haven't gotten into homebrewing yet look at that and they're not really sure what that is. So I think it would be good to, you know, do something to kind of help educate everybody else that's, you know, that's new into craft beer and say, you know, this is possible to make this in your, you know, in your own home and have these beers, you know.
Yeah, I think that's where we need to do more with home brewers. You know, I love doing what we did at the View, and I know we want to be back there, you know, for the industry night. And I know you really enjoy what you do with the Sister Own tastings at Schmitty's, and I know we want to give that some support with the show, for sure. And I know we're both interested in raising our beer knowledge with the Sister Own process.
Exactly.
You know, doing the beer service Sister Own certification and the next level certification together while we're doing the show.
Yeah.
Well, what we're going to do right now is we're going to finish up the selection from Surly Brewing. We're going to say thank you to Surly Brewing for this beer. So we're going to send this to your Facebook page so you know your beer made it all the way out here to Southern California. I don't think we've ever said that before on any of the episodes. By the way, for those of you that are watching that don't know us from right down the street, we're in Southern California.
Yeah.
And that does not mean we're at the beach, because we don't live anywhere near the beach.
No, no, we don't.
We're out in the Coachella Valley, and if you don't know where that is, I'll say
it's in the middle of the
Coachella
dirt.
Fest.
Yeah, it's in the middle of the dirt.
Google Coachella Fest. We live like a couple of blocks, both of us, from Coachella Fest.
Yeah.
Or think Palm Springs. We don't usually say Palm Springs, but
yeah, a lot of people don't know that Palm Springs and Coachella are, you know, right there.
Right there.
Yeah.
Right there. Yeah. So, and for the first time in my lifetime of being born and raised out here, and luckily for this man as he's becoming a craft beer aficionado, we have a craft beer culture out here now. And that's really what the show is about, is chasing that culture, trying to find that culture, and how it's blowing up out here in our valley. As well as we're going to get outside the valley. We're going to go out and see Michael Buck as soon as we can, and go see that man cave of 12 beers, and that's going to be a tough night, I can tell already.
Yeah.
And we're going to get out and see what's going on in Temecula and Marietta, because there's a lot of beers out there, a lot of breweries popping up. I heard there's like up to 10 now, or 11.
Temecula's going crazy with breweries right now.
You know, it's tough, man. Like, you hear 11 breweries popping up. Are you getting 11 amazing sets of beers? Or...
I hope so, man. That's, you know, that's one thing is, I would hate for it to be 11 breweries and 2 of them are phenomenal and the rest are just mediocre. I hope
let's be honest, it's a bubble. You know it's a bubble, you know? And
we'll see.
There's got to be some winners, there's got to be some losers, you know? Everybody can't make a phenomenal beer, or there wouldn't be phenomenal beer, it'd just all be beer.
That's true.
The beer we're moving into now is another out-of-state beer from Founders Brewing. Tell us a little bit about that one, Justin.
Founders is out of Grand Rapids, Michigan, and this is their breakfast stout. It's a coffee, chocolate, oatmeal stout.
It's everything.
It's 8.3%, and I must say it goes. It's very good for breakfast.
Wow. You've had it for breakfast before?
I've had it for breakfast before, and it's
what time?
very good.
What time in the morning was it?
It was like 8 o'clock.
Nice.
You know, breakfast time.
Did you have anything with it, like a bowl of oatmeal, or just a bottle of beer?
I mean, it's good enough on its own to have for breakfast. I mean, it says right on it.
Nice.
Breakfast.
Yeah, and that baby on the label loves it.
Yeah, I mean, if I could get a bowl of it like that, I'd be set.
Yeah, that baby loves it. I heard there was some controversy on that label because the baby loved it, but we'll see. I think it's a really well-rounded stout. You know, for the 8.3, you know, I don't get any kind of an alcohol back in there.
No, not at all.
It's just very roasty, very good chocolate base.
Mm-hmm.
Coffee's not as prominent as I was hoping for, but like you said, as it warms up a little bit, that comes through.
Yeah, it'll start to come out a little more.
Yeah, and a very, very, very enjoyable stout, by all means.
Yeah, and it's not, you know, crazy high, 10, 12, 11% alcohol.
No, like you said, 8.3 is a good big range. It's not too desperate. It beats you up too bad.
And it's not so low that it's really thin bodied. I mean,
it has great mouthfeel.
Yeah, it's really.
It's got some good heartiness to it, and it actually has a bit of a hoppiness to it, which you know, a good stout should be in the 50, 60, 70 range of IBU. So there's some bitterness to that stout.
Yeah,
I like it.
It's
nice choice, young man.
It's one of my favorites, man.
So we're where are we? Yeah, we're out in the Midwest with these beers today, right?
Yeah, because Surly's from Minnesota, Founders from Michigan. Founders is another brewery that I don't think I've had a bad beer from them.
Nice. Are they the ones that do the Old Bastard and the Angry Bastard?
They have the Dirty Bastard.
The Dirty Bastard.
And I'm not sure what the other one was called, but they have another
Now,
bastard.
have you had either one of them?
Not yet.
Do you feel like it might be a takeoff of Arrogant Bastard?
No. I
Its
think
own
it's
genre?
I think there might be Scotch ales. I have to check.
We should get our hands on those.
Yeah.
I remember reading that online. I think one you said the Dirty Bastard, and I think the other was an Angry Bastard or something like that.
Yeah,
like
I don't.
There's
know
the
what
Dirty
the
Bastard,
name
and the
was.
next one's the beer above it.
I think
like its
so.
Imperial cousin. Or
Yeah, but they're not hoppy strong ales like Arrogant Bastard.
No, they're more like multi-batch
Yeah.
Scotch ales, and
Exactly.
I'm down with that. That's
Exactly.
another beer genre that I really enjoy. So
Yeah.
I'm down
But
with that.
I mean, I've had their Imperial Stout. It's really good. They have what they call the Backstage series, which is like a limited release series of beers, and they did one 2013 called Mango Magnifico.
Mango Magnifico.
And it was it was mangoes and something else and habanero, I want to say. And
I
it
love
was
the stuff with the peppers on.
unbelievable. It was so good. But again, it was one of those where it's got a little bit of the heat from the pepper, but it's not overpowering everything else in the beer.
Like my jelly.
Exactly. That jelly is good
That
stuff.
jelly is serious
That is
business,
some
man.
good stuff.
Fucking jelly is good.
Yeah.
Habanero Gold.
Yeah.
We should do a shoot where we pair beers with the Habanero Gold and some Asiago bread and some cream cheese.
Yes, we should.
It would pair perfect with this right now.
Let's do it,
If it was
man.
8 a.m., it would be all about it.
Yeah.
Breakfast with jelly.
Yeah, let's do it. But they have a beer called Doom, which is a bourbon barrel aged Imperial IPA. Which you kind of hear a barrel aged IPA. How can that be good? But it was they pulled it off, man. It was really good.
I'd be down to try that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Their Centennial IPA is good. I've had a few others of theirs, but like I said, I haven't had a bad beer from them yet.
Awesome.
So
we've definitely tried some really good out-of-state beers. I know Christmas special here with me and Levi and his beer.
Yeah, the beard.
In the beer. We had some awesome out-of-state beers today. We've had a couple. I'd like to throw some shout-outs to people that are talking about sponsoring an episode and sending some beer our way. Sandra Ringer. Sandra's talking about shipping some beer our way and sponsoring an episode. And in return, we gather up some local beers that she can't get anymore out here. She was born and raised out here in Southern California, just like myself, right here in the Coachella Valley.
Yes.
And that would be awesome. And then my niece, Brianne, who is out in Washington, is talking about sending some beer our way. And she loves stouts and porters.
There's some good beers in Washington.
So she'd like to send us a little batch of stouts and porters. And then my brother Buddy, who is biker as biker gets. He's biker, man. He's Fu Manchu, like Harley emblems on
He's
the
a
Christmas
real
tree.
biker. He's not a weekend
He always
biker.
has been, though.
Yeah.
No, he's always been. He ain't no fair weather biker.
Yeah.
He's a real biker.
He's not trailering his bike to
No.
Sturgis.
No, no. He ships his trailer to Sturgis and rides his bike there.
Exactly.
He don't fuck around.
Yeah.
No, he's a real biker. He rides in like snow and like all kinds of shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's.
He has like snow chains for his chopper. Like he ain't fucking around.
Couldn't imagine, man. Couldn't imagine having to do that.
He's hardcore, yeah. But he's talking about sending us some beer that would be sponsored from his bike shop.
Okay.
And then we'll shoot an episode with sponsorship from the bike shop, and then we'll ship him some beers he can't get.
Yeah, tell him to send it on down.
The other idea that we've been talking about is putting together with the homebrew brewmaster, Ralph Sargent.
Mm-hmm.
He had his beers on his birthday.
Yeah, that sour stout that he has, it's pretty
Very
pretty
respectable.
amazing.
Yeah, very respectable. He brews some very respectable beers. And I've seen him do some really unusual things and pull it off. When he did the spruce tip, where he went up into Idaho and climbed up in trees and pulled spruce tips out. And he came home and it smelled like a Christmas tree, and then he chopped them up and it smelled like a ruby red grapefruit. And he threw it into a beer and it was like amazing. I learned a lot from that guy. The year I brewed, I learned a lot from that guy. So, trying to get sponsorship. I won't say from who at this time, but hopefully that's going to go through. We're going to be brewing ourselves a 10-gallon batch of a self-designed Beer Culture Webshow IPA.
Oh yeah.
And then we could just kind of do a bunch of buzz builders towards some kind of release party where we could find a bunch of fans
Yeah.
and drink 5 gallons of beer one night.
It's a lot of beer.
We have to have a lot of people.
Yes, we do.
We'd have to have extra friends for that show.
We need to get working on that, man.
I think so. But I think if we put it out there that we have 5 gallons of beer, we need your help drinking it, I just totally think people would show up for that.
Yeah, I didn't. I wouldn't never turn down free beer.
We could get together with Erin.
Yeah.
Beer goddess. We'll get together with her. She'll help us drink 5 gallons of beer.
Yep.
I think Eric would help too.
Eric would definitely help us drink
Eric,
5 gallons of
you gotta
beer.
have us drink 5 gallons of beer in about 3 months.
Yeah.
Sarge would definitely help us drink 5 gallons of beer.
I think it'll be a lot of fun to put something together like that.
Me too. I think for us to design something that we feel is the personality of the show, and I know for me, there's going to be some bitterness in there. There's going to be, I think we've already decided that the citra hops in there.
Yeah. If we're going to make an IPA, I'm a big fan of citra hops.
I agree.
But everybody's got their own taste and their own thing. But I'm a big fan of citra hops.
Yeah. So I think that leaves it up to me to pick the second hop.
Yeah.
Because I don't think we want to do like 10 different hops. We want like a lot of hops with just 2 different hops and let them do their thing.
Mm-hmm.
I always say hops got a story to tell. They just need the room to tell it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna have to come up with my other hop.
You better get on it, man.
I'm gonna try. I was always a big fan of like Willamette. I was always a big fan of I like Warrior. Hop. I think it's a really good hop. It was in that first beer we drank tonight.
Yeah.
I think the 2 hops did very well together. One of the things I always read, as though we're going to both work towards the Cicerone certifications, one of the things they really talk about is pairing IPAs with spicy foods. I totally don't agree with that.
I don't either.
I think dark, roasty beers, malty beers pair well with spicy food. I think IPAs pair better with sweet foods.
Yeah, I've tried IPAs with spicy foods before, and it's usually the spice, depending on how hot whatever you're eating is, it drowns out the flavor of the beer.
Exactly.
And I just haven't had one that goes well together.
At the View, when we busted into that amazing little block that we're going back to shoot hopefully on Monday, that pressed pork, that stout and that pork never fought each other.
No.
Well, when we got into that sushi and that saltiness and the wasabi, the IPA and that never fought each other.
No.
Those things were paired perfectly.
That was.
Now, when we go take that test, we're going to have to think, I know this is right, but I'm going to say what they want me to say.
Yeah.
Because they want me to say,
yeah.
Jalapenos and no, they don't go together. They're angry cousins. They don't get along.
They don't go together at all.
No, absolutely.
At least not that I've found yet. Maybe there are some spicy foods that go well with IPAs,
I
but
just
I haven't
think
found one
like
yet.
malty beers, like when I buy the Stone Mix Pack. When we're eating spicy food or Mexican food, which is at least a couple nights a week, my wife loves Mexican food, and in turn, I love Mexican food. I go into like Levitation because it's very malty, it's very brown ale.
Yeah.
And it works very well. Oh, I had that brown ale. You suggested that brown ale from Dogfish Head Brewing.
Oh, the Indian Brown.
Oh my God.
Is that not one of the best brown ales you've ever had?
Fuck me running. That beer is awesome, man.
See, that beer...
Shit, we drank that beer, and it was like one of those moments you drink it, you're like, okay, that's stupid. I only bought one of those, and it's 12 ounces. Yeah. I should have bought a 4-pack of that. Yes, we talk about beers you would pay $12 for a 4-pack. I would pay $12 for that 4-pack.
That's easily one of the best brown ales I've ever had. Because it's hoppy.
To me, that's a brown IPA. That is like
that way. If you read about that beer, it's a blend of, I think it was an IPA, a Scotch ale, and something else.
Nice.
And that's where it gets the hop.
It was. It's like an argument in your mouth. It's like an argument of beer. Like it's perfect. It's angry.
Like I said, it's easily one of the best brown ales I've ever had.
Yeah.
It's so
stand up beer, man.
Yeah.
We're definitely gonna go back and get that one.
Well, like we talked about doing an all brown ale episode.
We need to, and we're gonna do Bear Republic's brown, and we're gonna do Clown Shoes.
We might have to do 2 brown ale episodes, man.
We could do 6 beers. We just need Levi and his beer.
Yeah.
Hey, we need my wife over here drinking. You know?
Yeah,
we
we
get
could,
like 4 of us drinking on camera. We'll be all right. We'll get through it.
Get more people. We could do more beers. Yeah,
absolutely.
we could definitely do that.
What's the clown shoes one? It's got the like chocolate sexy mama down there like doing a little squat with the. It's a crazy label.
I remember Brown Angel.
Brown Angel.
And I mean, that's a really good
What
beer
is
too.
the Lagunitas had 2 beers that were mistake beers that they turned into regular brews or limited release brews. One of them is the brown sugar.
No, one of them is Lagunitas Sucks.
Lagunitas Sucks,
They
and the
couldn't-
other
they
one is
couldn't-
brown sugar.
Well, they couldn't make brown sugar one year.
Oh, so
I don't
they
remember-
made
so they made
Lagunitas Sucks.
Lagunitas Sucks.
That's what it is.
Because
Okay.
it was originally called Lagunitas Sucks Brown Sugar Substitute Ale.
Right, that's right.
And
That's right.
everybody loved it so much. I mean, it's an amazing double IPA.
It is.
And everybody loved it. They decided to bring it back as a seasonal release every year.
So they have brown sugar, but Lagunitas
Exactly.
Sucks. Okay.
Yeah.
So we could have their brown sugar, and we could have the clown shoes, and we could have the.
Well, the brown sugar isn't a brown ale. That's a strong ale. That's a 10% beer.
Oh, we don't want to mess with
That's a
that.
beast. But
I would like to have the clown shoes. I'd like to have the Bear Republic, and I'd like to have the Dogfish Head. What about those 3?
those 3 are good. You know, going back to Surly. Surly makes an excellent brown ale called Bender.
Very nice.
There's a handful of other brown ales that are really good. Schmaltz and Terrapin did a collaboration and
I've
made.
had some really good Terrapin beers.
Yeah, they made what they call their reunion ale. It's a brown
Nice.
ale with I think cocoa nibs in it,
Mhm.
and it's
Nice.
really really good.
You know, one of the first beers me and Sarge brewed together, and that Sarge brews pretty consistently, is his take on the Terrapin Rye.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Terrapin Rye Pale Ale, but he's always tried to push it more towards an IPA.
Mm.
And then I did one of my beer trades I did early on was a whole Terrapin lineup, and I got a chocolate peanut butter and a Terrapin Rye and a Terrapin Hofecutioner,
Mhm.
which is the coolest fucking label. They have the best labeling.
Yeah.
With the different turtles.
They're-
and, you know,
yeah, they're
and I got like
pretty
4
good.
beers, and me and him sat together and just chilled, and we just sat there and went through all 4 beers together, and which would have been a phenomenal episode before I ever thought of this show.
Yeah.
And you know, just 2 guys going through 4 of the Terrapin Rye's beers or Terrapin Brewing's beers. It's been a good shoot tonight.
Yeah, it's been.
We got some good ideas flowing.
I think we're on the right track, man.
Yeah. And then we got some new equipment coming. We're trying to move in the right direction.
Yes.
I think the view was a good experience for us, me, you, and the tech head, Jason Tyler,
Yes.
of what we can do and what we need to do.
Exactly. Yeah, we learned a lot about how we need to,
Yeah.
make those things happen, how we need
And-
to shoot those.
And it was
those
great to
particular
be somewhere
situations.
where people just totally coveted us. They were
Yeah.
just like, what do you need? What do you
Exactly.
want?
Yeah.
Let's go,
Yeah.
More beers kind of being like that right now. I hope that pans out where they're just like, what do you need? What do you want? Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we need. We need to find more places that are just going to like bring us in and give us what we need.
Yeah.
Thank you to Yellow Cab for being there for us for that shoot. That was awesome.
Yeah.
I hope we
definitely.
can keep having the cab sponsorship because drink responsibly, people.
Yeah.
Think it
don't,
through.
Don't drink and drive.
Yeah, don't drink and drive. It's silliness. It's silliness.
It's stupid.
Yeah, you're not drinking 10 Coors Light. You're drinking our beer. You're getting
You
buzzed.
know
Yeah.
before you go out that you're going to
Yeah.
be drinking. So
Yeah.
plan ahead. Get a
Plan
cab.
ahead.
Get a designated driver. Get
Yeah.
something in place where you're not drinking and driving.
Draw a short straw
Yeah.
and be the DD.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Walk home. Leave your car there and walk
Yeah,
home.
walk home.
Something.
Sleep right there.
Yeah. Don't sleep in your car though, because it's still technically a DUI.
Technically,
Sleep outside your car.
that's a wet and reckless or something like that.
Something. Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's been good.
Yes, it has.
Always drink the beer you love and love the beer you drink. Cheers. From Beer
Cheers.
Culture. We'll see you on the next episode. Fuck, that's a good beer.